Hello and welcome to episode number 266 of the Launch Lounge podcast. In today's episode, you'll discover why deleting your inactive subscribers from your email list might be the best thing you can do for your business growth. You'll learn exactly when and how to clean your list for better engagement, higher conversion rates, and even improved deliverability. So stay tuned. Hello! I need to confess something to you today. For the longest time, I was absolutely terrified of deleting anyone from my email list. I mean, I worked so hard to get those subscribers, and every dollar I spent on ads to build my email list was like a dollar that I squeezed out of a rock, right? It came with blood, sweat, and tears. I spent money on ads. I spent time and energy on creating lead magnets. I showed up. I did all the things. And the thought of intentionally removing people felt like I was throwing all that money and that hard work away. And I remember hitting my first 10,000 subscribers and feeling so incredibly proud. I was telling my team and we were celebrating, and I was just so happy that I hit that 10,000 mark. And then my open rates started dropping and my click rates became absolutely abysmal. And this is long before all the privacy stuff. This is long before Google changed their algorithms and privacy, all the privacy stuff meant that we couldn't see who's opening. This is going back a while, right? My click rates were terrible. My open rates were terrible. And worst of all, my launches were hitting a plateau as well. They weren't converting at the rate they used to. And even though I worked my hiney off to keep building my list, it's like I couldn't quite keep up with the demise of the email list. But then I started noticing some delivery issues. My email open rate dropped to below 10%, which was ridiculous, right? It was just I was like, this is absolutely horrendous. So I hired someone to help me figure this out. And he was amazing. And he shared a lot of really valuable information with me about how the algorithms work and how, even how our whichever service provider you're with, email service provider, you kind of get clumped together with a bunch of other people, and you bunch share a server, and that server will have a communal rating based on the average deliverability, open rate, and click rates of the people in that clump. And so if you're clumped with people who send out spammy emails, you get affected by that. Now, you can email your service provider and ask them to move you into a different clump, which is one of the things I ended up doing, which did help. But that's not what this episode is about, because there were a whole bunch of other things we had to do as well. At that time, I then made the very tough decision to clean my list, and I removed about 40% of my subscribers who had not engaged with me in over 90 days. And that hurt me physically. Like, I felt like I wanted to vomit, genuinely. Watching 4,000 people get deleted from my email list made me feel sick. And so, just watching it go from 10 to 6,000 triggered every single scarcity, fight or flight, business anxiety trigger inside my brain. But you know what happened next? My email list started opening my emails again, and I saw click rates go up. And today, because I have spent a lot of time and effort engaging with my email list, and I make sure that I track these things closely and I keep my list clean, my engagement is better than ever, right? And now, instead of chasing a number or a list size, I'm committed to chasing engagement. I look at my open rates, my click rates weekly to make sure that I'm tracking okay, so that I don't ever get caught off guard the way I did when I had that anxiety-inducing first season of anxiety-inducing events when I realized my emails are just not getting opened, and then the second one when I had to cut off my limb. So why do you think the email list size is a lie that we buy into all the time? If you're like many of my students, and probably a little bit like me, you must be obsessed with growing your list. Well, you're here, and so I want to assume you're obsessed with growing your list. So we're constantly told that the money is in the list, right? And the truth is that it absolutely, absolutely is. A large list can mean the difference between a launch where you just didn't have enough people at the top of the funnel to make money, or a launch where your people love and adore you and can't wait to buy from you, right? So the number of people who see your offer does matter. But we tend to oversimplify it and think that number is the only thing that matter. So having a large email list, but if it's unengaged, if it's disengaged, it is worthless. A smaller list that is engaged is worth a lot more. Okay. For those of you who are building your business while you're still juggling family and maybe you're still in a job, every single dollar you spend, every single minute you spend on list building has to count. It has to contribute to something that you're going to put in the bank at the end of the day, right? So keeping those people on your list when they've died is not going to serve you. And those of you who are hustling, who are making reels and stories and writing email content to engage with your list, this is precious time. And we have to count it in terms of the value of the email lead, where they're opening and engaging, and not the volume of our list. And for those of you who are scaling to 6 and even 7 figures, inefficiency in marketing can literally cost you thousands in lost revenue. And I say this with a lot of love, but if your revenue is somewhere between $100K and $1 million, inefficiency is probably your biggest problem in your business right now. It's probably your biggest, because you're putting out fires, man. You're managing a team. You're trying to make sure the team does the right things. You have hundreds of subscriptions to things going off. You're hiring ads managers, and you're hiring VAs, and you're hiring OBMs, and it's just, the money's just flying, right? Inefficiency is your biggest challenge if you are successful and scaling. You're trying to build a team, and you're trying to create bigger systems and better systems and processes that will serve you well. You have to be able to stop that hustle and create efficient marketing systems so that you can stop bleeding money. Your email service provider, which I'm just going to call your ESP for now. People give it lots of different names. I'm just going to call it your ESP, right? It's your Active Campaign or your Kit, or even Kajabi. I know Kajabi offers email service provider, but just Kajabi's really bad at doing email, so just use something better. I'm actually in the process of considering leaving Active Campaign. I know it's just Active Campaign have put up their price by 2 years ago. They put it up by $1,000 a year. And then they put it up by another $1,000 a year, and then it's been consistent for 2 years, and they've just put it up by another $1,000 a year for me. So I'm starting to stare at $4,000 a year, where 4 years ago I paid $1,600 for the same thing. And they justify it by saying, well, they've added all these fancy features. Guess what? I don't use those fancy features. I am not an e-commerce business, and I don't need the fancy features. So if you're an Active Campaign user, check the email they sent out about the price increase. It's ridiculous, and it's the second one in 2 years. They're not going to cry over losing a few online course creators, but maybe I'm starting to look at Kit, because not Kit. Is it Kit? The one that's designed for course creators and content creators. I'm going to remember what it is now. Is it Kit? I don't know. I have to think about it. Sorry, off on a tangent there. Anyway, your email service provider charges you based on the total subscriber count, not just the engaged ones. So you're literally paying money every single month to send emails to people who never open them. Even in some cases, they charge us for the unsubscribes that are still sitting that we haven't deleted. So you could have people who've unsubscribed from your list, and you're only looking at active contacts that you pay for. But if you haven't deleted the unsubscribes, you're paying for them, right? And the problem goes far beyond just wasting money on your email service provider. Email providers like Gmail, Yahoo, and whoever, Apple, wherever, they're constantly monitoring engagement rates. And when they see a high percentage of your subscribers aren't opening your emails, they start thinking, this sender must be sending content to people that people don't want. And what happens next is they start sending your emails to the promotion tabs, or even worse, to the spam folder. So even your engaged subscribers, the ones who actually want to hear from you, might not be seeing your emails anymore. And it's like a downward spiral. It just keeps getting worse and worse. So I want you to log into your email service provider and look at your open rates for the last 3 to 5 campaigns. And if you're seeing open rates below 20%, that's a huge red flag. Industry averages for online course creators and coaches should be in the 25 to 35% range. If you're getting higher open rates than that, good job. I know a lot of you are, because you tell me your open rates. So I know a lot of you are in the 40s and 60s%, and that's amazing. The real metric to focus on isn't your total subscriber count. It's your number of engaged subscribers. And these are the people who are actually seeing your content, clicking your links, and ultimately buying your programs. So the cold hard truth about having inactive subscribers is that having a large percentage of inactive subscribers isn't just a vanity metrics problem. It's actively hurting your business in ways you might not realize. For those of you that are trying to create consistent income while you're still in the juggle, trying to maintain work-life balance, and you really need to make sure that the time and the effort you're spending growing your business is going to return a profit, this inefficiency is stealing both money and energy from you. And for those of you who are scaling, these inactive subscribers are holding you back, and they are just costing you money and creating chaos and noise and distractions and things that you don't really want. They're just dragging around dead weight. Inactive subscribers create 3 big problems. The first one is they damage your sender reputation with email providers. And this is a real thing that impacts whether your emails get delivered in inboxes or in junk folders. And this is actually what happened to me, that I found out I was clumped together with a whole bunch of other people with really poor sender reputations. And therefore, I just got given their sender reputation, and my emails was in a service provider, or in a, I don't know what the right term is, a imaginary container where they store the data. What is that? What is that called? Yeah. So it impacts our provider reputation, and we don't want that. And this is the next one, is one that really hurts. It inflates your cost. Every email service provider tier increases, and as you hit the next tier, you might be sitting on a whole bunch of inactive subscribers that pushes you into the next tier, and you're paying even more. And I just want you to think about how much money you're spending keeping dead emails on your list that you could be spending getting new, highly engaged ones from ads. That's where I want you to be spending the money. I want you to spend the money to get the hot leads, instead of keeping the dead ones, dragging the dead ones along, right? And I say dead with the most loving kindness. I don't actually mean, emails is just not being open. Don't send me nasty emails. Okay, so every email service provider increases the level that you pay when your list gets bigger and bigger. So don't spend money on dead leads. Just spend your money on getting new live ones. But there's an even bigger psychological cost. When you're sending emails to a large list, but you're getting little engagement, it's demoralizing. It's frustrating. I was in tears when I realized I had contributed to the problem. And I remember this really well because I had flown to Melbourne to meet with Kirby and Chloe, who was my integrator and my VA at the time. And we sat in a coffee shop. And I promise you, I was nearly in tears when I looked at my 10K people on my list and I realized that my list is dead. It's 10K people, but they're dead and they're not working for me. And you know what follows? You start second guessing your content and your offers and maybe even your total business model. And this is when I start hearing things like, maybe I shouldn't be selling a course. Maybe I should be selling a membership instead. Or I hear people saying, well, maybe my content is just more suited for coaching than for courses. And I go, no, just pick one and do it well. And you can add the others on. But when our email list is dead and they're not responding to our offers because they're not opening our emails, sometimes people just don't know that it's an email problem instead of an offer problem, right? But often the problem isn't your content. It's that your emails aren't being seen by the right people, or could be that they're not being seen by enough people, which sounds like I'm saying you need a bigger list, but it might be that they're just not being seen by enough people because your open rates are so low because you've allowed this to go on for so long, right? So here's a quick way to understand the impact. You can calculate how much you're paying for your email service provider per month, and then divide that by the number of engaged subscribers. Those who have opened and clicked in the last 90 days. And that is your actual cost per active subscriber. And for many of you, that number might actually be shocking. And then I want you to think about what you're paying for the number of inactive subscribers, right? So if you work out, you're paying about 44 cents per person on your email list. And you see that 60% of your list hasn't engaged with any of your emails in the last 90 days. How much money are you spending if one of them, if it's 4,000 people and each of them costs you 40 cents, how much money have you spent keeping those people on your list? And what would happen if you take that money and you spend it on list building instead? If you're ready to start scaling your business, get back your time and step into your freedom empire, listen up. I'm excited to share that we've got just 2 spots opening up in our VIP client level in May. We're taking on 2 new course creators in the Launch Lounge marketing and ads agency during May. And honestly, we are pretty pumped about what we're offering. Here's the deal. We don't just run your ads. We're your go-to growth partners who look at your whole marketing picture. The best part? We've built some really cool AI tools that our clients are loving. These tools help spruce up your launch copy so it actually connects with your audience. They make your webinar content way more engaging, and they spot those missed opportunities in your sales process so you can turn more viewers into buyers during your launches. Our clients tell us they're finally getting off that exhausting launch roller coaster. They're seeing sales come in consistently and getting back precious time with their families. If you're already making at least $100K per year, have an offer that people love, and you're committed to doing the work to scale, we should definitely chat. You've built something awesome. Now let us help you grow it without the stress. Just head over to thelaunchlounge.com/agency and apply. But don't wait too long. Those 2 spots won't hang around. So let's think about how we can strategically clean our email lists, right? Cleaning your list isn't just about deleting people. It's about implementing a strategic system that keeps your list healthy over a long time. And for some of you, that might mean going in and deleting all the unsubscribers for the first time ever. And for those of you who have more advanced email service providers and a bit more time to set up more advanced automations, it might mean you create a tagging system or an automation that identifies when people have not taken any action for 90 days and adding them to your re-engagement sequence. So wherever you're at, Your list cleaning strategy should have 3 distinct phases. The first thing is, and this is not one of the phases, this is just something you got to go do right now. If you have not deleted unsubscribers ever or recently, you should be unsubscribing them once a month, right? Not deleting unsubscribers. Go in there now and export everybody that has unsubscribed to a spreadsheet. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to upload them to Facebook as a custom audience. They're your email list, right? Now you can upload them as unsubscribes, or you can just upload your list once a month and then they'll be included anyway. But I want you to make sure before you delete all the unsubscribes that you have exported that list and you have uploaded it to your custom audiences in Facebook. Because sometimes you don't want to get emails from someone, but that doesn't mean you're not interested in their content. And that certainly doesn't mean when they launch something new, you don't want to hear about it, right? So give them the choice to still see your ad on Facebook or on Instagram without needing to be on your list, right? You can have a dedicated unsubscribe list, and you can even drill down and say, well, they opted in from this lead magnet and then they unsubscribed, so I know they're no longer interested in this type of content, but let me put a different lead magnet in front of them that shows something else that I offer and see if they resubscribe, right? Okay, so another tangent I've just gone on. So I want you to do that before you start with this 3-phase system of creating your or of cleaning your list. Phase 1 is the re-engagement campaign. Before you delete anyone, give them, and this is not unsubscribes, this is just people who haven't engaged in 90 days. Before you delete them, give them one last chance to engage. You can create a series of 2 or 3 emails that are specifically designed to get opens and clicks, and you make these emails valuable and direct. And sometimes simply asking, do you still want to hear from me, in the subject line can be enough to wake up a dormant subscriber. Phase 2 is your segmentation. Once your re-engagement campaign is complete, you segment your list into 3 categories. Highly engaged people, those who opened and clicked in the last 30 days. Somewhat engaged, those who opened and clicked in the last 30 to 90 days. And disengaged, those who haven't opened, haven't clicked, haven't been on your website, haven't done anything in 90 days. Phase 3 is the actual cleaning. You're going to export your unengaged segment before deleting them, just in case. Because remember, they haven't unsubscribed. They've just disengaged. They've forgotten about you, okay? So you export that and you keep a running spreadsheet of all the unengaged people. You upload that to Facebook, make sure you can retarget them. And then for some email service provider, you might archive rather than delete, but the goal is the same. Stop sending and stop paying for these people. So if you do need to delete them, that's okay. Delete them so you don't pay for them. And at least you know you've got them sitting on a spreadsheet. You can run ads to them. The best way to implement this is to schedule quarterly list cleanings. Put it on your calendar now. Every 3 months, run your re-engagement campaign and clean your list. Here's a real-world example for you. One of my students had about 3,200 subscribers, but her launches were plateauing, and she sells high-ticket coaching. So it's important for her that even though her email list is slightly on the small end of the spectrum, considering how big some of your email lists are, when she sells high-ticket coaching, 3,200 people can be enough because she might just need 3 or 5 new clients, right? So after cleaning her list, she was down to about 1,800 subscribers, and it was a big shock. About a 44% reduction, right? But her next launch had a much higher conversion rate, and her deliverability improved dramatically because her emails were actually reaching inboxes again, and the people who were receiving them were interested and engaged. And so she sent those positive signals to Gmail, and her emails ended up in the inboxes of the right people. Now let's get practical with exactly how to implement this. Step 1, analyze your current list health, right? Log into your ESP, your email service provider, and identify what percentage of your list hasn't engaged in the last 90 days. If it's more than 40%, you need to prioritize list cleaning ASAP. Step 2, create a simple re-engagement campaign. This doesn't need to be complicated. 2 or 3 emails with direct subject lines like, do you still want to hear from me? Or quick question about your email subscription can work really well. I sent out one that said, are we breaking up? And that got the best response. In these emails, provide clear value and ask subscribers to click a specific link to confirm that they want to stay on your list. Or unsubscribe, or tell them they can unsubscribe, all right? So give them the option. Always give people the power. I think there's value in giving people the power because it also trains us that people have autonomy and they can choose. I hear so often people say, but I'm scared to send more emails because people might unsubscribe, or I'm scared to send more emails because I don't want to spam my list. The problem with that thinking is you assume you're spamming your list, and you should never assume that. You should assume you're sending your list epic content that they want and come from that place. And then if they opt out, that's awesome because they have autonomy and you have autonomy. We tend to sometimes believe people are victims when they're not. They have autonomy, right? Don't turn your email list into a victim. All right, so schedule your list cleaning day. Give your re-engagement campaign about a week to run, and then set aside time to actually clean your list. Remember to export those unengaged segments before removing them, just for your records and for your custom audiences. Step number 4 is implement preventative measures. Update your lead magnets to be solution specific. Update your lead magnets to have a nice, warm email sequence in there. I talked about this in episode number 260. The episode is called the 5 email welcome series that converts like crazy. So if you need to go and revisit your warm up welcome sequence for your lead magnets, go and do that. Because if your current warm up sequence leaves people opening your emails at around 40% for the first 5 or 6 emails, imagine if you push that to 80% for the first 5 or 6 emails, right? After that, your open rate is going to be so much higher. So if you need to go and listen to that episode, it's number 260, and it'll be linked in the show notes as well. Improve that welcome sequence so that you can encourage engagement, and set up the automated tagging in your ESP to track engagement from day 1. So you just want to make sure you have a simple tag that says they have opened, and if they've opened or if they've clicked, you say have opened or clicked, and then create an automation that says if they've had the open or click tag in the last 30 days, give them a thing that says engaged. If they've had it in 60 days but not 30 days, then it's engaged for 60 days but not 30 days. You can work it out. You're smart. Okay. Update your lead magnets. We've talked about that. If you're a bit nervous about deleting subscribers, just start small. Maybe begin with subscribers who haven't engaged in 180 days rather than 90 days. And as you see the positive results in your open and click rates, you can then get more aggressive with your cleaning, because it does feel like you're cutting off a limb. For a quick win, immediately implement a sunset policy in your ESP if it has that feature. It automatically removes subscribers after a certain period of no engagement. I created this email sequence that automatically, if you haven't opened an email in 90 days, puts you into that engagement funnel, engagement automation. And if you've gone through the engagement automation without opening or without clicking on any of those emails, it automatically adds your name to a Google Sheet, and it automatically deletes you from my email list. So those things are all set up to happen automatically in the background without me needing to think about it. And all I needed was a few simple Zapier integrations. All right. I know the idea of deleting email subscribers might feel counterintuitive when you've been trained to build your list, especially when you've worked so hard to get your list where it is. But remember, your goal isn't to have the biggest list. Nobody is having list size competition. it's to have the most engaged list. I know people wear their list sizes like a badge of honor. It's a bullshit badge of honor. I've been in this industry long enough to tell you that, yeah, I used to care about it as well, but it does not matter. I've worked with clients who had massive lists. I'm talking 250,000 people on their lists, and they struggled. And I've worked with people who had 2,500 people on their list, and they were cruising. So please forget about wearing your list size as a badge of honor. It is not a badge of honor. A smaller, more engaged list will always bring in more money than a larger, disengaged one. I'm going to repeat that. A smaller, more engaged list will always bring in more money than a larger, disinterested one. Imagine opening your email stats and seeing open rates of 40% or higher. Imagine launching your next program and seeing conversion rates double because your emails are actually reaching people who want to hear from you. That's the power of maintaining a healthy, engaged email list. Building your freedom empire, it's not about vanity metrics. It's not about wearing badges in Facebook groups. It's about creating sustainable systems that generate real results consistently on autopilot. And sometimes that means being brave enough to let go of what's not working to make room for what will. Our next episode is out this Tuesday, and we'll be diving into the topic of having less than 1K subscribers and how you can still crush your launch with less than 1K subscribers. If you think you need a massive list to have a successful launch, you're going to want to tune into this one. And I'll show you exactly how to maximize your results, even with a small but mighty list. Until then, go clean that list and watch your engagement soar. I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye. Before you go, if today's episode helped you, imagine how many more lives could be transformed if other creators, coaches, and experts found these strategies too. Your shares and reviews help more course creators discover how to get their knowledge out into the world. Please take a moment to rate the show and leave a quick review. When you do, we get to reach more people and we make a bigger impact together. Because when more people who help people succeed, the world becomes a better place. Thank you.